Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a voiceover because Noah has a friend over and they're playing games in the family room while I'm doing things. And normally when I'm doing the dishes, I'm just letting music play. So I will do that for just a little bit while I'm letting the music play, and then I'm going to be sharing me cooking dinner. I have cooked this dish before, but I have a lot of new people. It's been a long time since I cooked it. So I thought I'd share it again because it is a really yummy, and yummy dishes are great things to share.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. No mistake ever kept me late. We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates. One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. Way back to them days, daydreamer, kidnap me, have me running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot, have me running around dressed in a gown, barefoot.
Okay, so you're about to see me move the camera because I didn't have it where I wanted it. But I am going to cut up this London broil. It is not the type of meat that this dish calls for, but is what we already had, so I decided to thaw it out and use it, and it was delicious. What I am making is a recipe from Just a Taste. I said it wrong. Just a Taste, and it's easy beef and broccoli. I will link it down below, and I will go ahead and tell you the things that you need. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch divided, 1 pound of flank steak cut into 1-inch pieces, which I did mine a little bit differently. Trust me, it was delicious. Cut thinly across the grain. That's the way Jeff taught me to do it. Some pieces were a little bit thicker than others, but it worked out. 1/2 cup of low sodium soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of packed light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. We used a little bit more than that. 2 teaspoons of fresh grated ginger, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil divided, 4 cups of small broccoli florets. I used frozen this time. They weren't too small. And then 1/2 cup of sliced onion. So, like I said, I'm going to cut up this steak and cut off all the icky parts and get that all done. And I'm going to speed it up just a tiny bit for you guys, and I will be right back to tell you what's next.
They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh, they would be together, ooh. And one day she said, write me a love song, 'cause I know you'll make it beautiful. And maybe I'll call you my sweetheart, and promise nobody can steal me away. Then I am yours, 'cause I want you, and I wanted you to know. He looked at her and then he smiled, picked up a pen and paper, started writing, probably something about her eyes and how they're always shining, or something cliche like ooh. Baby, I only want you. It's true. And then he said, I wrote you a love song, and I tried to make it beautiful. It's a song about your sweet, sweetheart, and how nobody can steal me away. Yeah, I am yours, 'cause I want you, and I wanted you to know. As he sang, she started to dance, grabbed his arm and took his hand. He held her close under the moonlight as they kept on dancing. And now they're singing their love song, and they sing it kind of beautiful, calling each other sweetheart. I promise nobody can get in their way or steal the show. They're in love now, and I wanted you to know.
Okay, so I've got the meat cut up, got all of the things out of the way, and in the little bowl thing there, it's actually like a salad dressing thing for packing lunch, has a little lid to it. I have 3 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I showed you that. And I'm going to shake that up really well. I'm going to mix it into the meat, and I'm going to set it to the side. I also have my stainless steel skillet on the stove with oil in it, getting it hot. And the reason why that I'm using the stainless steel one is because it's bigger instead of my cast iron. It calls for a non-stick. That's what the recipe calls for, but I don't use those. You guys know that I don't use those anymore, so I'm just using the stainless steel. And I'm going to tell you already, it's going to look like it's going to be a mess if you use that. It's going to look like everything's going to stick, and it's going to be terrible. But I promise you, by the time that you're done with all the sauce and all the things and all the vegetables, nothing's going to be stuck unless you just overcook it. So just going to go ahead and tell you that now. So I mix this up, and then I set it to the side. And then which you're going to see this next part in a minute, but I want to tell you about something else. So that's why I'm going ahead and telling you. I'm going to be getting a measuring cup, and I'm going to put in that measuring cup the other 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, my soy sauce, brown sugar, garlic, and ginger. And I'm going to mix that together, and I'm going to set it to the side. Now, the reason why I want to go ahead and tell you about this is because I freeze my ginger. I just grab a ginger root from the store, and then I stick it in a silicone resealable bag, and I stick it in my freezer. And then whenever I'm ready to use that ginger, I peel it and I just cut it up or whatever I want to do. I was trying to show you the cup, but I failed a little bit. But anyway, I cut it up and I use it then. And it makes it to where I don't ever have any problems with having fresh ginger at home, because that's not something I keep in my pantry. It's not something I keep with my onions and potatoes and all that stuff. I keep plenty of garlic like that, but I just don't with ginger. But if you freeze it, it will be just fine. So that is what you see there. The little yellowish looking thing is the ginger.
Got the strangest feeling, ever so appealing. In the back of my mind, I know what's right. Like a lash in my wrap, coming out on a wing. Set my heart on fire, steal the night. I've been looking for ages, trying to find the one to believe in me somehow. With every heartbeat I feel it, gonna set my sights on you. You make the world go round. Got the best intentions, never turn against you. Got you covered and all my love is yours. On the stormy mountains, in the raging weather, I'll be your shelter, my favorite shore. I've been looking for ages, trying to find the one to believe me somehow. With every heartbeat I feel it, gonna set my sights on you. You make the world go round. How many times do we fall until we lose it all? Need no commiseration, 'cause I got the next sensation. I've been looking for ages, trying to find the one to believe me somehow. With every heartbeat I feel it, gonna set my sights on you. You make the world go round. I've been looking for ages, trying to find the one to believe in me somehow. With every heartbeat I feel it, gonna set my sights on you. You make the world go round.
Okay, so now I'm going to start cutting up the onion, and I'm not going to need this whole onion. It is way too big, so I'm going to put some of it in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator. I'm just going to take part of it, and I'm going to just thinly slice it and get it ready for whenever I start to, well, whenever I need it, whenever that time comes. So I'm using something else that I don't know if I even mentioned it yet, but I'm using frozen broccoli. You're supposed to use fresh, but I didn't have any, and I already had the frozen broccoli that we really needed to use anyway in the freezer. So I thought, well, I'll just try that. We'll see how it works out. And it worked out just as well, except the pieces that are in that bag, or those bags from Sam's, are huge, but that's okay. We just kind of dealt with it and cut them up a little bit. It was still just as good either way. Okay, so like I said, I had my skillet getting hot on the stove top, and I'm about to put the meat in there. And for some crazy reason, I started off just putting a couple pieces in at a time whenever it says to put it all in. So then I finally got some sense and just poured it all in, which you'll see in just a second. So another thing is, I'm using my small tripod, which is really not tall enough, and I hope y'all can see this well enough. But you get the idea either way. I keep saying it's driving me batty. But anyways, I say that too much too. I'm just going to let this meat cook until it is almost completely done, because you will have to put it back in the pan, but I really am getting ahead of myself. I'm going to let it cook till it's almost done. Then I'm going to put it on a plate, and I have this warming section on my stovetop, so I just put it on there with a little foil over it so that it stays warm, and then I'll go on to the next step. But like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just going to let this cook up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it has gotten done, and I am putting it on a plate, like I said, back there. And it's not completely like well done, but it's done enough that you could actually eat it at this point. And like I told you, the pan's gonna look gross. It's gonna look like everything is stuck. It's gonna look absolutely horrific if you use a stainless steel or a cast iron skillet. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. It will be okay, because all of that will come up with the vegetables and the sauce. So I'm going to get all of the meat out, and then I'm going to put the onions in, and then I'm going to put the broccoli in. And what you do at that point is I skipped a part. You put the oil in, like a tablespoon of oil. Then you put your broccoli and onions in there, and you cook it until your broccoli is tender, which is about 4 minutes. But since mine was frozen, it took longer because it had to thaw out. Also, the writer of this recipe gives you tips. One of them is to guarantee bright green broccoli, blanch the florets in boiling water, then drain and dry it very well before adding it to the pan. If you opt for this additional blanching step, reduce the cooking time of the broccoli to 2 minutes. And also, it says the sauce must come to a boil for the cornstarch to work as a thickening agent. So those are the 2 tips she gives. But I'm getting my broccoli in there, and like I said, they're pretty big. It still has the not just the green part, it's got the other part which is still green, but it's a different shade, you know. It's not just the florets, it's some of the stem as well, but we don't mind that because we like to eat that part too. It's just as good, and it's very healthy. So I'm gonna let that cook for a bit, and then I'll come back and tell you what's happening next. Okay, so at this point, the broccoli and the onions are cooked through, and I'm going to add the meat back to the skillet, and then I'm going to put the sauce in there and bring it to a boil and cook it. It says stirring for a minute or until the sauce thickens. I don't really know how long it took mine. I didn't time it. I just made sure it came to the boil, because if it does not come to the boil, it won't thicken properly. Another thing I always do is I stir my sauce again before I actually put it into the skillet. And this is when all of that stuff that did not come up with the vegetables, that's when it's going to come up to get all of that stuff out of the bottom of your skillet. So like I said, don't worry about it, it's fine. And I did add just a tiny bit of water into it just to get all of the sugar and the garlic and ginger out of the measuring cup. Also, it does say to use a bowl to do that, but I just use a measuring cup so that I don't have to measure the soy sauce. You guys can do whichever way you want to do it, but I find it easier just to go ahead and measure the soy sauce first and then put everything else into the measuring cup and let it go that way. So I'm just going to let this come to the boil, and then I will come back and show you what happens next. Okay, so there's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. While that I'm cooking all this, like right after I got the meat into the pan, I started some rice in my Instant Pot. Totally forgot to tell you that. But this is when it's boiling, or it's come to the boil, as you can see, and I was just getting everything mixed around again just to make sure everything had sauce on it, but you can see it bubbling there. And the next thing you're going to see is me fixing a bowl for Jeff for after he got home from work, and he just had it. Did you enjoy it, Jeffrey?
Do what?
Did you enjoy your dinner?
Yep.
Y'all may not be able to hear him, but he said, yep, which is his favorite thing to say, it seems. But anyway, that is the beef and broccoli that is our favorite. And if you try it, go ahead and let me know. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want this recipe, it will be linked down below. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so be notified whenever I upload. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing. Share with a friend if you think someone else would like this. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.